Welcome back everyone, and it's time to go ballsy! Today we're going to talk about the single most enigmatic, cunning, and exceptional doctor in all of the ninja world.
You're not that guy, pal, trust me.
You're not that guy.
No, I'm talking about the best villain Boruto has to offer. I mean the one that has the best master plan.
I'm confused!
Okay, although that's facts, Orochimaru is the GOAT, but I'm actually talking about Amado.
Oh my god!
For those of you who don't really know who Amado is, let me enlighten you a little because I think this man is a sussy baka. I can't believe I said that. I think he's sussy to the point where we deduce Amado will in fact end up betraying Naruto and Sasuke. He will manipulate Kawaki and fundamentally cause the destruction of Konoha. Recently, in Boruto Chapter 64, Amado was mentioned quite a few times regarding the pills he has given to Boruto to suppress the Karma Seal data. Boruto is suffering from a heart attack due to the pills, and everyone is confused as to what he may have done. If you are not up to date on the latest chapter, then check out that video where I did my analysis. But essentially, we are currently going to explain the reasons why Amado is behind everything. We all remember how it went in Naruto, right? We cannot forget.
Why did you even rope me into this? Cause he roped me into this. Well, him over there, he roped me into this. Well, he roped me into this. Well, what about me? He roped me into this. Well, that one over there roped me.
Shut the fuck up.
So how is Boruto going to be any different? There is always someone with a master plan. Amado was introduced as the head scientist of the Kara organization, which was led by, you guessed it, Jigen, or rather Isshiki Otsutsuki. He is also famous for his stone cold expression, as it seems like nothing ever phases him. Oh, and also he loves to smoke some of that good shit whilst talking. I'm not kidding, every single panel of this man has him smoking some of that good shit whilst the anime censors it. However, Amado is the most famous for his technical skills, as he has cemented himself as arguably the best scientist alive. With his numerous scientific tools being years ahead of the 5 great nations, he has created cyborgs with regenerative abilities that compared to Naruto. Dojutsu that can even absorb chakra like the Rinnegan. And not only that, these cyborgs are so strong that a god like Isshiki, the strongest villain we have ever seen in the entire series, was scared of their power and ordered their destruction. The feats that Amado has achieved with science almost feels alien and unrealistic in the short period of time that we have been presented in the story so far. For example, imagine creating the ability to transfer someone's consciousness within a matter of seconds, such as with Delta, or creating a superior clone from scratch that surpasses Jiraiya. We are told Amado is achieving these feats with inorganic technology, and if we compare this to the likes of Orochimaru, who is using organic technology, it helps solve the puzzle that Amado must have been around for quite some time doing his research. In Orochimaru's case, he has been experimenting with biology since a young age and is around 70 years old, eventually creating a synthetic human like Mitsuki. None of us can forget the atrocities and the cost of his unique abilities, which were extremely evil, and Amado has already proved the fact that he has a similar mentality, as he knew Kashin Koji would be sacrificed and be used as a tool against Jigen. However, he claimed it was a cost that was required, rather than thinking about the humanity that Naruto strives for. He also created special pills that directly attack the Byakugan's DNA. In order to achieve such a thing, he must have had a past history of experimenting on members of the Hyuga clan until he perfected this medicine. And similar to Orochimaru, this man disposed of and used hundreds of kids for Jigen to find a vessel. This guy isn't nice. None of us want to believe that Amado was shoved into the story in the past 16 years only to just be the best of the best within an instant. Just like the others, he must have taken time to achieve his intellect. This gives us a clue that Amado must have a master plan, which just like Orochimaru links to his wish that Jigen mentioned in chapter 39. For example, Orochimaru has a wish for Mitsuki, and that is to achieve free will and to be the moon to Boruto's son, as he wants them to save the earth against the impending doom. I already covered this in extreme detail in the past. That's why it's important to hit the notification bell for the channel so you don't miss out. I will put the video in the pinned comment for you. Whilst being an antagonist at first, Amado swiftly snitched on his leader Jigen and aided Konoha in return for citizenship. However, many people still have their fair share of doubts about Amado's motives, including characters like Shikamaru and Sumire. I understand why one would trust him, since he was a key to Naruto and Sasuke's victory and also prevented Isshiki's resurrection inside Kawaki in the first place. We can't forget that Kashin Koji forced Isshiki to resurrect inside a weaker vessel. Furthermore, he even helped Boruto to weaken the otsutsufication of his karma when Naruto had lost all hope and had no other choice. He saved the day. It is completely plausible that Amado just is a genuinely nice guy who's trying to help the world get rid of the Otsutsuki, but that would make for a boring story since he is so overpowered in terms of intellect. I mean, what's stopping him from creating another robot that would be stronger than Code since he has already done that in the past? The story showcases that he is doing so already in Konoha, but this robot would be following his orders, not Naruto's.
That's true. That's fucking true.
Amado always presents himself as a very confident individual. His detached and dead calm attitude is sure to get inside everybody's head at some point in time. Also, this isn't just for show, as he was calm enough to maintain an advantage during his negotiations with Konoha despite facing a rather pissed off Shikamaru and a cold-hearted Sasuke. He even managed to conduct a whole ass coup d'etat whilst undercover in the presence of a literal alien god. Nothing phases him. Amado is a very goal-centric person and will make any sacrifice necessary to achieve even his own personal goal. When he's talking, you're almost always getting the feeling there's more than what meets the eye. May it be the karma, Jigen, his intentions, it doesn't matter. Him being secretive and reserved about what he's doing doesn't help either. Just take a look at his little chat with Sumire, for example, in chapter 59. Sumire straight up confronted Amado's true intentions, to which he responded by saying, "You're really smart or you're really stupid. Which is it? If you had stayed quiet a little longer, you may have extracted more intel." And when she responds saying, "So you are plotting something," he says, "So you're stupid." You can't tell me this is normal behavior for someone with nothing to hide.
Walt, I don't know, man. You've been seeming sus lately, you sussy baka.
His blunt style of speaking makes things worse, as it feels like he's constantly trying to make you feel like he's trying to one-up others around him, especially people in power. There are numerous scenes to prove this. For example, he made Kashin Koji believe that his fate was to put an end to Isshiki, whereas in reality, it was the same as Jiraiya, to become a catalyst for Naruto to win. During his negotiations with Konoha, he used Shikadai, who is the son of Shikamaru, to ensure that Konoha can't use a child as a sacrifice for the sake of the village. Furthermore, he put his negotiations as his priority even though Jigen was becoming a bigger threat than ever. He even tried to pressure Kawaki into getting an artificial karma by telling him that he'd be able to protect his beloved Hokage with it. And judging by the flash forward scene, Kawaki may still accept this offer. Once again, he is exploiting Kawaki's love for Naruto just as everyone else did in Kawaki's past. Put your thinking caps on for a second, like critical think for a second. I know you want to be entertained, but wait, why do you guys think Amado kept asking about Kawaki's safety, even though Kawaki didn't have a karma anymore and isn't of any use to him? Kawaki hates Amado and doesn't trust him, yet the old man analyzed his character during chapter 51 and states that he knows he is grieving due to the loss of power, making him feel insecure. This makes it obvious that Amado must have a secret reason as to why he wants Kawaki to possess the power of the karma once again. Furthermore, there's something that always protects Amado, and that's him understanding the monopoly he has on information. This is because he originally held the position as the head of Kara's scientific development department, giving him the benefit of the doubt. He has an understanding of inorganic technology and Otsutsuki law that no one else else possesses, especially since Kaguya's scrolls cannot be read anymore due to the loss of the Rinnegan, or they have been destroyed. Isshiki must have taught Amado things about the Karma Seal, therefore making it possible to create technology for it. However, Amado showcased he has exclusive information that no one else can possibly know multiple times in the story, especially due to the circumstances. We are talking about intel that Isshiki wouldn't want to share, such as knowing the karma will be removed from Kawaki once Jigen is killed, along with knowing the dynamics between Isshiki and Kaguya in the past, Isshiki telling Amado the weaknesses of the karma, or other Otsutsuki details. It sounds pretty stupid to us. Why would you do that? After all, Isshiki was already sus of Amado when he ordered the destruction of his cyborgs. So why would he tell him his weaknesses? Where does Amado learn all of this from? Regardless, Amado being the only true source of information, Konoha and the shinobi world has no choice but to accept whatever he says to be the truth. It's as if he has read Otsutsuki scrolls for himself and is able to decipher them, which further insinuates his ulterior motives. All you can do is try to assert some pressure by saying, "Are you sure about that?" which won't affect someone like Amado in the slightest. Even in chapter 61, Shikamaru says that it feels like Amado has a script that's going perfectly well. And he'd be right, because remember in chapter 35, Sai also mentioned that the coordinates to Ishiki's dimension were planted there on purpose, as if Amado wanted them to go there using Sasuke's power to prove himself in his request for asylum perfectly when the time came for it. Whilst Amado has proved that the information he provides is essential and accurate, it's still not enough to truly trust him. Isshiki was a hurdle that everybody had to cross, since he would have easily wiped out everything if he resurrected in his true form. Essentially, the defeat of Isshiki was more of a common interest they shared as opposed to them working together for the same goal. Apart from that, we don't have a single way of confirming the rest of his intel, especially on the Karma Seal. Many people in the community speculate that Amado could be an Otsutsuki, and it surprisingly isn't actually as far-fetched as it might seem. Now, to explain this, we'll take the help of this Twitter thread by Hidden Leaf, who explains the possibility of Amado being an Otsutsuki in detail. So let's question the insane amount of plot convenience that the Boruto manga uses. So let's dial things back to when Amado and Jigen were forcing the latter's karma onto young children inside the Kara's lab. Before infesting Kawaki with the Karma Seal, Jigen said that he needs only one vessel, which we know Kawaki is. However, Jigen still goes out of his way to infest Code with a karma, but that isn't necessarily suspicious, right? I mean, he has disposed of hundreds of kids, one more won't change much in the grander scheme of things, right? Now, what's kind of weird is that this last kid they were going to infest with the karma with ends up with a possible 1 in a billion chance result, the white karma. As we know, this white karma gives Code monstrous strength but will not turn him into an Otsutsuki. So basically, this is a power only Karma Seal, the best of both worlds. Basically, he hit the jackpot. But this is all we know about the white karma and its origin. Who's the source of our information here? Amado, and Amado only. Kawaki fainted before he could see anything happen, and Isshiki never really mentioned anything about it. Again, Amado's relying on the benefit of doubt because there's nobody else to ask. It's his words or nothing. Now you're probably thinking, oh ABD, wait. Isshiki literally said that his legacy is dwelling inside of Code, and that he can become the Otsutsuki god. Well, hold your horses and hear us out. Harrison will explain this theory in detail and further about Amado's betrayal and how it connects to the story even further.
We know that it is a strict rule that when a vessel has been completely Otsutsukified, the resurrection of the original Otsutsuki begins immediately and all existing karmas completely cease to exist. So, with that information, you're telling me that Code, a failed karma experiment, is not Otsutsuki enough to lose his karma after Ishiki's Kode's revival, but he is still Otsutsuki enough to summon Isshiki's soul? No, something's definitely not right here. Forget being a vessel, Kode's white karma didn't even make him a good sacrifice to the god tree, since Isshiki would have just sacrificed him way before if it could yield a good chakra fruit. I mean, Kode would have even offered himself, considering he's such a huge simp for him. He even simps for Ada, and that clarifies that he isn't an Otsutsuki or even somewhat of an Otsutsuki, because Ada specifically stated that her abilities work on everyone except family and those with Otsutsuki inside them like Boruto and Kawaki. Now let's try and break down this plot convening aspect of the white karma. As we know, karma works by overwriting the host's data with Otsutsuki data. So if Kode won't get Otsutsukified, then where the hell does this data go in the first place? Does it just remain in the mark itself? If that's the case, then the increase in Kode's strength shouldn't be too major, and his karma shouldn't spread like the normal karma in the first place. Secondly, can the karma even survive without spreading this data somewhere? There are so many questions, but so little answers. And that's why people are speculating that there's more to it than we are being told here. It should be obvious by now that yes, we're hinting that Amado has done something to Kode, such as give him his own karma seal. Yes, it could be an artificial seal, or maybe Amado just isn't some normal human being. As we mentioned before, Amado offered a power-only artificial karma seal to Kawaki. According to him, this seal has no direct relation to the Otsutsukis and hence won't lead to any form of resurrection. Amado stated it's easy to create a door as Kawaki is already 80% Otsutsukified, but this is simply a tool he created using whatever he could learn during his time at Kara. So the theory is that the white karma Kode possesses was in fact created by Amado, not only to power Kode, but also to manipulate him. Once he was done getting rid of Isshiki, his next plan was to manipulate Kawaki, which we will explain in a bit why this is so important to Amado. To do that, Amado needed to create a larger threat which he can control. Now, take a look at this scene. As you can see, this is the scene where Isshiki's soul comes out of Kode's white karma. Here, there is a steam-like dispersion from the white karma seal. If you were to think really hard about the Kara arc, then you'll probably remember that we've seen this effect happen before. This release of steam, or heat, is commonly seen when a scientific ninja tool is overheated. For example, take a look at Delta's eyes, after she had reached her limit absorbing chakra, or Kawaki after his debut fight, for example. This dispersion is exactly the same, and the steam coming from those two mentioned before was because their scientific ninja tools were overheating. So there's no way that this is just some kind of coincidence. Boruto's karma seal has never showcased this steam and acts more natural per se. And to further support this, Isshiki's dialogues just don't coincide with the actual events of the story. When Kode asks for the names to seek revenge upon, Isshiki names everybody but Kashin Koji. He didn't think to name the guy who started this whole war? Well, who doesn't know that Kashin Koji survived the fight against Isshiki? Yes, it's Amado! The mad scientist had designed Koji to only force Isshiki to resurrect. Koji was built only to die in battle, which he didn't know. He was out of the loop of Amado's grand plan. Also, this can be seen in his conversation with Naruto when they were spectating the fight. Koji's toad projection was destroyed before he escaped, meaning Konoha didn't see the final outcome of the fight. Therefore, Amado doesn't know that Kashin Koji actually survived. Hence, Amado programmed this artificial white karma to project Isshiki's soul and name the people who have the highest probability of killing Isshiki and surviving. Hence why Koji wasn't mentioned, because as far as Amado's aware, my man's already dead. Also, a lot of us wonder why Isshiki didn't project his soul to anyone, similar to Momoshiki after he died. If we run things back a bit, we learn that Momoshiki's spirit actually appeared before Boruto right after his death, and that is when he gave his karma to him. Momoshiki stated that those who kill a god cannot remain any ordinary individuals. By this logic, after Isshiki was killed by Kawaki, his spirit should or could have appeared before him just like Momoshiki did with Boruto. However, that wasn't the case. Instead, Ishiki's post-death projection went to Code? NANI? Just because he has a white karma, which doesn't even give Code Otsutsuki DNA? It just doesn't make any sense. Also, don't forget that Amado is an expert manipulator and understands social engineering very well. Countless times he has pointed out that Code isn't particularly bright, which was even pointed out by Ada too in the later chapters, that Code knows nothing. So far we have proven that Amado manipulates others. He did so with Koji, tried with Kawaki, and betrayed Jigen. Remember when Amado programmed Delta to shut down with a password? Kashin Koji witnessed it and suspects in his mind that he himself has been designed this way too. He doesn't even trust his own creator, making him feel like a tool. Amado is once again exploiting Code's love and obsession for Isshiki for his own master plan. By using Code's obsession, Amado is able to create a like-for-like projection to control Code and push him in the right direction. On why Amado would want Code to kill Naruto, Sasuke, Boruto, and go after Kawaki. Firstly, Amado's master plan has made all the characters fall into a dilemma of his choosing. Naruto and Sasuke were going to be the only people that could stop it, but now they are completely nerfed. Isshiki is dead, and now his monopoly has gotten even more powerful. This is where we come to our next stage of the theory. There are endless outcomes that Kishimoto can go, but there are three that seem the most likely, and they are that Amado is not Otsutsuki himself, who wants to use Kawaki as a vessel, his story is linked to Kaguya and wants to unseal her, or that Amado wants his daughter back by using power. All of these theories can come true, if not at least one of them. To understand this, let's take a look at the mythological references regarding Amado, because like many characters in the series, Kishimoto takes inspirations from different folklore tales, such as every Otsutsuki member. Kaguya is inspired by Princess Kaguya, the main character from The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter, one of the oldest Japanese legends in written records. Hagoromo is another, as in the same story, Kaguya is given a Hagoromo to wear upon her return to the moon. Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and Urashiki were inspired by old folklore heroes, Momotaro, Kintaro, and Urashimatoro. Isshiki took inspiration from Ishinboshi, the 1-inch tall man, blah 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 blah, you get the point. Well, in one of the scenes in the manga, Jigen calls Amado a sly fox. A Japanese stereotype is that foxes are also known for possessing people in Japan. Amado also shares a few traits with a yokai called Amano Jaku. For those of you who don't know what a yokai is, they're basically supernatural entities. And this particular yokai is known for one of its stories where it persuades a child into opening the door of their house and then proceeds to kill them and wear their skin. Amano Jaku also thought to be able to provoke a person's darkest desires and thus instigates them into perpetuating wicked deeds. Again, this could just be an indirect parallel to his relationship with Kawaki. It is plausible that Amado was a low-tier Otsutsuki, perhaps one of the missing Otsutsukis from the mural in chapter 35. We were literally told in the story that they are lower ranked than Isshiki, which means he didn't stand a chance against Isshiki, hence he was waiting for his death to proceed with his own master plan and cast his own desire, such as implanting his karma seal. We even have further scenes from the anime which add to this speculation. In episode 188, Amado speculated Kawaki's karma reaching stage 3, essentially confirming his status as a perfect vessel. Now, Amado is meant to want to betray Jigen and stop him getting a perfect vessel, yet he celebrated this achievement, despite only being in the company of Kashin Koji, who already knew about his betrayal plans, so he had no reason to lie and act so unnatural. So why did he celebrate what he was supposed to be stopping? It's because he wants Kawaki to be a perfect vessel so that once Jigen was out of the question thanks to Koji, Naruto, and Sasuke, Amado would be able to take Kawaki all for himself and not have to worry about finding a new vessel. We can even speculate that he made up the entire story of having a daughter just for sympathy points and manipulating the emotions of Naruto. It's pretty clear that Amado is the antithesis of the way the shinobi that Naruto is building. His philosophy will be the opposite, therefore making him a good villain relevant in terms of writing purposes. He clearly shows that Koji and others are just mere tools that the way the shinobi objects to. This leads to the future scene where Kawaki states that the age of shinobi is over, whilst Boruto is trying to uphold it. Also, remember when we mentioned how Code couldn't be Otsutsuki because Ada's ability worked on him? You know, because her abilities don't work on family or Otsutsuki? Well, who else doesn't her ability work on? There's her little brother Damon, obviously, because family. There's Boruto and Kawaki because, you know, Otsutsukification. And Amado. Why? Now, yes, he did say he had a daughter, and that could be Ada. However, 1, there's like no resemblance between them, and 2, Amado mentioned nothing about a son, and Ada has a little brother. So if it's not a familial connection that makes him immune, it may just be an Otsutsuki one. And going back to the other Otsutsuki in the story and their inspiration, there's also a clear naming pattern with each of them. Well, the yokai we talked about earlier was called Amano Jaku. Amano. Amado. Now, this really isn't that far-fetched of a story. After all, Madara planned Obito's downfall so that he could execute his plan, and Black Zetsu planned Madara's moves to make sure that Kaguya comes back. That is still one of the biggest and most controversial plot twists in shonen history, and so it wouldn't be surprising now that Kishimoto's back writing Boruto that he would try and pull off something similar. Anyway, let us know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Are we just crazy, or are we onto something here? Have we figured out the Boruto story? Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and ding that notification bell too so you don't miss out on any of our future Boruto content, and we'll see you guys in another video. But until then, thank you and bye bye.